All right, let's complete the final one in the practice test, which is number 5. This says plot the ordered pair -4, -3. The graph is on the back. So we're going to scroll down here. We're going to plot that point -4, -3. Remember, x always comes first, and then y. Remember, x is the one across. Y is the one that goes up and down. So we're going to find -4 on the x and -3 on the y. That would be right here, -4, -3. All right, and it's going to ask us to reflect that across the x and across the y. Remember, when we're reflecting something across the x or across the y, we actually have to cross those parts. So for example, I'm going to go to the x. 1, 2, 3. And then if I wanted it to be a reflection, it needs to be the same distance across. So 1, 2, 3. So that reflection across the x, the points of that would be -4, 3. And this is the x reflection. All right. And then now we're going to want to reflect it across the y. So we're going to get to the y first. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to want to reflect it across 1, 2, 3, 4 times. That would bring us to this point. That point is going to be at 4 on the x, -3 on the y. And that would be our y reflection. Right? And then it's going to ask us to create a final point to create a rectangle there. I know that's going to have to be there. Let's finish this off. And our rectangle would look just like that. All right, now before we move on to the next one, let's mark up some of these up here. So it asks us for our x reflection across the x. And remember, that would be, the x would stay the same. So that means it would be -4. And the y would change to opposite, so 3. Just like we see down here, -4, 3. And we know that x stays the same when we reflect across the x, and y changes to the opposite. So we should be able to find that even without plotting it, just knowing that framework. And then for our y reflection, we know that the y stays the same, so the y would stay at -3 like our original point, and the x changes to opposite, so x would be 4. So y stays same when we reflect across the y, and x changes to opposite. All right, and just like we see, that point was 4, -3. And that final point we created to finish off that rectangle is at 4 on the x, 3 on the y. So that last point would be 4, 3. And then it's going to ask us to find perimeter and area. Remember, perimeter is the distance around a figure. How do we find that? We find that by adding all side lengths of a figure. And then how do we find the area? We find area by doing base times height or length times width. Those are just the same words, that is different words that describe the same thing. All right, so first we need to find the side lengths before we add them all. So how can we do that? All you have to do is simply count. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That side's 8, which means the bottom one as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one's 6, which means this one is as well. So we have 8 plus 6 plus 8 plus 6. 8 plus 6 is 14. So 14 plus 14 gives a perimeter of 28. And then base times height, our base would be 8 times our height, which is 6. 8 times 6 would give us an area of 48. That's our figure that demonstrates all of that. And then we are just putting the words here as well. And that is number 5. Hope that helped.